Hi, this is Ed, back again very quickly here with a video. Going to talk about some stuff a bit later, which was covered in my news roundup, which you can go see over on Mirror World, or the Mirror World channel there on the Hive blockchain. You can see that video. I'm going to just talk about some additions here to that particular video. And that is the mystery drones. The Pentagon has just came out and stated that the drones are not theirs. That's basically it. Then they were asked, if they're not yours, or if it's got, if they're just kind of civilian drones, why is it a classified briefing on the drones? And here is the question that was asked.
Why does it have to be a classified briefing if these are just hobbyist drones, they're not military drones? Why is it a classified briefing on the Capitol Hill?
I'd have to refer you to Congress on that. Again, sharing as much information as we can here. I don't have the briefing in front of me, so I can't tell you specifically, what aspects are classified or not. I can assure you, though, that again, we are sharing as much information as we can based on what we know.
So there you are on that one. They are not Pentagon drones, they state. So other things have come out, namely this one here, where the House Foreign Affairs Committee chair there stated that in his opinion, the drones are coming from China. That's his opinion, right? The drones are coming from China. By the way, the spy balloon thing that was blown out of proportion, right? This, to me, this is just my personal belief. It's the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen. First of all, the University of Fairbanks, Alaska, the person in the weather department that launches the balloons stated, and I played the video, that they're our balloons, right? They shoot them in the air all the time. They put them in the air. Okay. So people say they're a Chinese spy balloon. Does that make any sense to anybody? And I know there are people that still believe they're spy balloons, but why would you need them? You've got satellites that can literally read your license plate number. They can look inside your house while you're inside using infrared. They can see you moving around. They can do all these types of things. They can read your number plate. They can do all this. Why would they need a balloon, which is basically very old technology, World War II technology, even predated, well, they used it in World War II, but, round about that era of technology. Why would they need that? Well, people say, no, they're catching some of the air off the base. What base? If you're talking about Area 51 or some kind of base, do you really think that they're going to let you fly a balloon over there? That airspace is protected. It'll be blown out of the sky before it gets miles near it. What's the point in throwing a balloon over it then? I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing ever, and it's all picked up on radar. You have radar systems that can pick up a tennis ball being thrown in the air. I mean, look, whatever. People can believe in spy balloons if they want, but the idea to me seemed ridiculous. And the other thing that really confirmed it for me was when they shot down the spy balloon, and remember it crashed in the lake? And then they came out and said it's unrecoverable. We can't get it in a lake. The reason they didn't want to go into the lake and get it, and they said, oh, it's lost, we can't do anything now. The reason why they don't want to get it is because they pull it out and people look at it and say it's a weather balloon. Look, here's how it goes if they want to catch the air sample, and they could do this all kind of within a legal Gorgon's knot with powerful lawyers behind them that it'd make it very hard to deal with, right? They bring over some students. Those students have visas, right? They're working at the top universities. They design a study where they're going to sit downwind of Air Force bases in order to measure the pollution to the environment. Bingo. You got all the data you want, and what can you do? Oh, you could approach them and maybe try to do something, but they'd have very expensive lawyers all of a sudden, right? They'd have people interested in the media. They'd be like probably following them around. You wouldn't even be able to even do anything about it. That's what you would do in reality. You don't launch a balloon from China or off the coast somewhere on some kind of ghost ship and then put it in the jet streams and let it fly over a country. I mean, hey, what do I know, okay? What do I know? That's just my opinion. Coming back to this particular story and regarding China, He says they're coming from China. Based upon what? Let's jump to the clip here so you can see the clip yourself. I mean, he just says that it's his opinion, which
Why
is
does
fair
it have
enough.
to be a classified briefing?
On the drone site.
Now, I'm just going to fast forward a little bit here because he says it here. Let's take a look.
Material, and most likely are coming from the People's Republic of China.
Do you think you'll be satisfied with what you hear today?
Probably not. I think they're going to say they don't know, and that's a concern in and of itself. That if we have drones flying around military bases and we can't identify where they came from.
They keep on saying this. They say drones flying around military bases. That's been happening for at least, I've heard cases of it happening at least back to the 50s, of testimony of people saying it's happening. And these are what you would identify as, unless it's a psyop against the people in the base to see how they'll respond to some kind of esoteric threat, unless it's that, which would be conducted by the same entities that's now reporting on it happening. It's complicated, right? You can develop something and then have it appear so the airmen and women can report on it, so you can use it as a story later in a classic Nancy Pelosi wrap-up smear, which is classic propaganda. However, going back to the airbase, it's been happening for decades. Always in the press, they talked about it with the Air Force, the X-Files music, at least when it came to the era of the X-Files. You know, it's all you're a lunatic, you're whatever. And now you can come here at this day and age and cite those examples in the past. He might not even be talking about recent examples. He might be talking about examples from 40 years ago. He might be talking about examples such as the Rendlesham event, which happened in Rendlesham Forest there in England, okay, and you had Colonel Holtz, etc. Now, that was an American airbase in England, okay, that had nuclear bombs on it. Was an airbase, and it had, American security team, etc. You've probably seen their testimony. He could be talking about that. Now, that particular case, some people say was a psyop. What they say happened was this was a fabricated event. Not the Colonel Holt and all them could be telling the truth, but a fabricated event in order for them to see how they would respond to such an event. Now, that's what some people say. Other people say it was a real event full of esoteric technology, strange symbols on the triangular-shaped aircraft, which was about the size of a VW Beetle, that landed down in the forest. And they collected radiation readings and all these types of things, and still had some illnesses that they believe was the ramifications from that particular event. Now, if you come back to here, he could be citing that event. What does that even mean? It's the context of it. Is it happening right now? Right now? And where is the video of it happening? If it's happening on Wednesday and there's video of it happening, that's verified as real video, because remember, the Pentagon is legally allowed to create psyops on the US population. Overseas, obviously, as all governments do, create psyops these days, but that has to be factored into the equation whether the video is even believable. Okay, if it happened on Wednesday and you have these esoteric craft, drones, classical drones, then they are buzzing the base. The only thing you could think about is this has to be something that's base organized, right? It can't be a traditional drone flying over an airbase, right, that has rotors on it. It's either a UFO, completely unidentified with esoteric technology that's beyond the capabilities to intercept, or it's a classical drone with rotors, in which case the reason it's there is probably because the bureaucracy wants it there. It's the only thing you can think of. Otherwise, it just gets shot down and destroyed. Anyway, let's, what are you up to, 9 minutes? Anyway, that's an addition there. Before I go on, though, because I've got a couple of other things just want to point out. If you are interested, okay, my novel, novella, my 160-page novella, and this is an old screen cap. The description actually says it's a novella because I thought it was important to point that out. The Lift is now on Amazon. Now, there is going to be a 99-cent sale, which is happening on Christmas Day. Okay, and I advertised that in a newsletter coming up. That's basically the only advertisement it gets, which is about $20. The Lift. I think it's a good story. Now, you don't have to, if you look at this and it's not your cup of tea, okay, you could buy a copy of the novel for $8, okay, just saying, it's $8 for a paperback due to the fact it's a novella, less printing costs. You can buy a copy of the paperback and you can put it in someone's stocking. You can say, hey, here is a kind of crime thriller with a little bit of a science fiction twist. When I say that, it's basically a crime thriller with a little bit of strangeness in it. Like in our Limits episode, you could buy that and put it in somebody else's stocking for Christmas and they'll enjoy it. In my novel, there's only mild violence, right? Not really, I would say, the same stuff you'd see in a normal movie that you see, like with, a little bit of gunfire, as they say, a little bit of detective work, things of that nature. I do have a trailer here. It's only 1 minute. I think I have it. I'm not sure. You know what? I don't have the trailer. I thought I did, but I don't. It doesn't matter anyway. You can listen to an excerpt of the book over there on Rumble if you want, the first 20 minutes to see if it's your cup of tea. Check it out. And also, obviously, the Bootstrap Paradox, 99 cents at the moment. That is an old cover. So here was something, and this was retweeted by many people. Okay, this got 6.3 million views. It's an interesting video. My point is today, how do you know it's real, right? I just seen a video of a bunch of people climbing up the side of a mountain to a giant Pikachu stone statue. And it looked realistic. It looked real. The lighting is getting almost photorealistic. The leg movements and everything seemed like they're getting there. I remember when I was complaining about 6 fingers on a hand. They've solved all that mostly. So let's take a look at this video anyway, since it's one of the videos that's gotten the most views.
Something's going up real fast. A plane? I can't tell what it is. Whoa, is that moving quick? That could be a drone. I don't know what the hell that is. But that is quick. There's only one remaining right now. Whatever that green flashing one is, he moved quick around it to get it.
So something happens when it gets close to this, apparently.
He's like right there with it. He's like right on it. Ooh, that whatever it was just shut down the drone, if that was a drone.
So there you see a drone. I'd seen that video before, but I didn't know it was the same video. And then it does something to the drone. What I mean is I've seen that video before. I'm playing it, okay? And I've seen it before I was doing this. But what I mean is on a number of different channels, not channels, but a number of different Twitter posts as well. It's all round. It's not there with the 6.3 million as you would expect. I mean, that's kind of obvious, I guess. So it does something to the drone and then it falls down. Don't know if that's real, but it is creating a narrative. Now, here's how you create a narrative. The strongest kind of narrative possible. And I went into this in the news roundup. Here is how you create a narrative, right? The most powerful narrative in a psyop. Now, before I go into that, I have to go into hypnosis. Excuse me if you've watched the news roundup, but in hypnosis, there's a thing where if you reaffirm people's conclusions that they've already come to, then you actually reinforce it continuously and you can control someone's mind. In hypnosis, you do this. And this is a natural phenomenon of the human being, right? It actually traces back to the reason why we don't go down to the pond with the crocodiles in it, because we will die, right? So it has to have, not everyone has to go down there and check to see if there's crocodiles if one person says there's crocodiles. It is a survival thing. So it kind of spreads, and our mind doesn't automatically have to see something in order to believe it. It's a product of survival. Here you come back to this particular drone. Well, not this drone. The hypnosis technique is this. You get the thing that is moving past your eyes. You've all seen it. It's a stopwatch. It's whatever. And your eyes are going back and forth. They say concentrate on the stopwatch. What they're doing there is making your eyes tired on purpose. Do you understand? And then when your eyes are tired on purpose, they say to you, your eyelids are starting to feel heavy. Do you see what's happening? They're reaffirming what you already know or you're feeling. So therefore they are becoming the focus of authority. This is the kind of equation that has rooms full of psychologists figuring out how to get into that particular equation in order to manipulate your thought systems. So your eyelids are starting to get heavy, right? They're starting to get heavy now. Yeah, because you did the thing with the stopwatch, but you're not thinking like that. You're saying, yeah, they are getting heavy now. And your subconscious knows that. So it thinks that the information's coming in as a true observation of the world. And this can control your thought patterns. So here's how you do it with this. You don't say anything with this. You give limited to no information. But the drones are there. So other people fill in the blanks. And then you come out and you have a snippet of information here. So look at a blackboard. If you've got a blackboard or a whiteboard on the wall and you put one certain mode there, a little dot there, and then you put another dot over here, and these are like information modes, you would say, and you've got enough of those, the people know these little modes of information. They're connecting the dots and they're formulating a picture that you want them to formulate via putting these little nodes everywhere. You're leading them and constructing an actual narrative without them being aware that you're constructing the narrative. Just like connect the dots, except they're not showing you the diagram, right? They're getting you to connect the dots in your mind. And I think that's probably what's happening here. Who knows how it'll go or what's next. But I know, obviously, just like everyone else, we know that something's going on. I don't want to go into this next information too much. You can just go watch the video, although I don't go into it in too much detail there. There are people that say, this is like my dad works at Nintendo, take this with a grain of salt, but people are saying, no, the drones are there because they're tracking down a nuclear weapon. Or they're tracking down the kind of like chemical signatures that you'd find in the air of like, someone manufacturing a dirty bomb. That's what they're saying. Do you believe that? Do you think, if that was the real scenario, think about it this way. If that was the real scenario, because what people always think, they were doing it for our best interest. They just don't want to tell us because we'll freak out. Do you think that's responsible behavior if that was true? If it's actually proven to be true later that they were trying to find someone who was constructing a dirty bomb or had a nuclear weapon, because this is the main narrative coming out. This post got 12 million views. So this whistleblower, quote unquote, that's what's saying they're a whistleblower, maybe, maybe not, but they're coming out and saying that this is the narrative that's basically happening. That there is could be a psyop, maybe not a psyop, but they say the one main narrative is that, response, as you can see there, in the late 2000s, the DoD needed a response to the threat of dirty bombs from ISIS coming into our ports. They've been stocking up on these drones for a while. Some were deployed in Ukraine when Russia threatened to use dirty bombs. They look weird because they're heavy and have, cryo coolers mounted and giant horn antennas to communicate on millimeter wave frequencies that can't be jammed. So that's the narrative, right? But coming back, do you think that it is responsible if they were actually trying to track down, let's say, a dirty bomb or a nuclear weapon? Do you think it would be responsible for them to say nothing at all? I mean, don't get me wrong, this is perfectly in line with Clown World. In fact, Clown World would demand that's what happens. But do you think that's irresponsible? Look, it's only December here. Like I said months ago, you aren't entertained anymore. by TV. That's why no one's watching it. You're not entertained by movies. You can just turn on and figure out what's happening in the world, right? Nothing compares to the reality. It's literally last week, a few days ago, wasn't that congressman was saying that there was an airship or something like on a starcraft, and all the drones were coming out of it. Is it responsible? All I ask is this: is it responsible to say that without any evidence whatsoever? So they're searching for a dirty bomb. The narrative is, my dad works for Nintendo. Do you think it's responsible, to leave people in the vicinity if there was a dirty bomb or a nuclear weapon about to go off? Like I said, in Clown World, it makes complete sense. In fact, the physics of Clown World means that has to happen, right? So let's go back to it. So I just wanted to say that. Do you think that's a responsible behavior? Second, if there really was a dirty bomb and a nuclear weapon, do you think it's responsible behavior to not call in the National Guard, to not call in sophisticated people so they can actually go door to door with actual detectors physically on the ground, right? And look in depth around things, and then you could just cover it as a drill. But do you think that it would be irresponsible to not use the complete array of assets at your disposal, and just fly up some drones? And not only that, fly the drones at night so they're flashing so everyone pays attention to them. Do you think that is actually a responsible way to manage the problem if it was real? And what I have to say is this: in Clown World, the physics of that actually run perfect. There is a perfect way of which Clown World would operate, and we do live in Clown World. But in a normal world, would that actually be responsible behavior? Because in a normal world, you would call out the national, you'd call out all your assets, police, whatever. You'd say it was a wide-ranging drill. You could even cover it by saying you're running a drill, right? You could put on the news, you're saying they're going to be running a drill in New York, saying to do with Homeland Security. They're going to be searching for whatever. They could even have someone on the news saying, yeah, well, basically the drill is, in case of a nuclear attack, we have to, whatever, right? They could run it like that. Then you could actually try to find the bomb, or you could find the dirty bomb, because you might have a drone that can fly over locations and kind of pick up little things here and there, right? But is it going to be able to collect as much data as if you actually had people with feet walking around? No, of course not. It's ridiculous in order to think that. You could have a whole entire networks of specialized equipment in there. You could actually be flying. Why aren't you flying if you're searching for a dirty bomb? Why aren't you flying the drones in the day? Yes, there are some drones seen in the day, but mostly all this footage is at night. All of it, 99% of it is at night. Why would you ever need to fly them at night? I'll tell you why. Because you need to see the lights flashing. Right? You need people to look up and go, what's that? That's why. What are you at? 23 minutes. Okay, so you can read those on screen if you want. There's some more information. You can pause the screen and read those. I went through a number of these different things in my news roundup, so I'm not going to get into them. People were talking about the cars with the flashing lights, in the parking lot, all the ghost cars. Scary scene. Looks like something out of a scary movie. You see all these cars, they're all parked together and all the lights are flashing. Well, if your drone's going over there spraying down signals, which you have sensors on all these cars that are used to pick up these particular signals, to turn on and off the alarm or to do whatever, everything's electronic. Of course, you're going to disrupt all the sensory equipment and have all these weird, phenomenon, right? The car isn't designed to operate with waves, millimeter waves or whatever kinds of things they have sprayed down on it. And of course, you can see more of this information and all those types of things. And regarding that, so that's pretty much it for the video. I just wanted to talk about those initial things. More things to come. Here are the new covers, by the way. Maybe someone can tell me what particular cover, if you like it with the red font. I've been going towards the red font. Bootstrap Paradox, 99 cents. The Lift, 99 cents next week. And Red Foam, of course, coming at... It's already written. I just haven't edited it. Coming much later, but I'm working on my detective novel. You might say, why am I always writing? Well, I find it relaxing, actually. and I'll see you all later. And thanks for listening.